check my settings. Okay, setting is okay. Yes, setting is okay. Everybody can comment me. Well, Salam Habibi, how are you all? I hope you are fine. It is me, Michael Santa, and welcome to you to my channel, Sheikh Afghan Jelebi Michael Santa. Accordance with title and thumbnail, yes, we are repeatedly roasting. Yes, we are repeatedly roasting NabySinhaTalks in the case of repeatedly of gender chromosomes. Okay, and now in the previous live stream, here we are discussing that how accepting Nettie Maria Stephens as a scientist to research on gender chromosome is just dangerous for the points. And the previous point we can see uh, that was in the demonstrated story of handicappers as a McLaren automobile company. But now, today's here our demonstrated story topic is Nettie Maria Stephen versus Erik Trippers. And now, Erik Trippers is the chief executive officer of the company to manufacture F-35 fighter plane. Okay, now let's see that what was the story. Okay, and now here you can see. Uh, okay, now here Nabi Sinha say. Uh, you have seen that Nabi Sinha say uh, the original researcher was whom? Native Maria Stephens, and the credit stealer is Thomas Hunt Morgans. Okay, and here now today's topic is what is okay. Now here today's topic is here Native Maria Stephens versus our Erik Trippers. Okay. Now here's the story is that Erik Trappier is the chief executive officer of Desert Aviations, and now here topic is F-35 American fighter planes. And now I would like to talk you that how well Nete Maria Stephens' research on gender chromosome is danger for Erik Trippers. I would tell you. Okay. First of all, here we can see, well, here we can notify the after points. Well, it was before gender change. It was a Erik Trippers. Well, and now I will show you that who was the Erik Tripper. Personally, here we can see Erik Tripper was a person who is chief executive officer of Desert Aviation, and his manufacturer points is American fighter planes. And American fighter F-35 American fighter planes, that means United States Air Force, air militaries, you know. Now the point is that in the demonstration story, that before gender change, he was Eric's Trapper. But now, because he accept because he accept our Nete Maria Stephens as whom the original researcher of gender chromosomes. And now, what happens? He changed his gender, and now she is a woman. In the demonstration story, new name is Aisha Tahamina. Well, okay. Now here we are going to say the before gender changing Chief Executive Officer of F-35 fighter jets, Erik Tripper. Now what is going on? We can show here. Okay, and and here we can see let's hide it every well here United States Air Force attacking Iranian terrorist space. Here departure is New York of United States of America and arrival is Tehran, Iran. Okay. Now here flying distance is 24,000 kilometers. Well, now here I think here is some spelling mistakes. Okay. It's okay for this. And the flying velocity is 24,000 kilometer per second. Flying timing is 1 second. Flying weight of fighter 35 fighter jet is 100,000 kilograms. Okay. Now where is my source? I am going to show you. Well, here is the source. What is the distance? Distance is New York. Departure New York and arrival is Tehran. Okay. Now let's see the middle stop. That is uh, Buenos Aires, Argentina, and Madrid of Spain. Okay. And now, before I forgot to show the exact distance is 23,357 kilometers. And what about the round figures? Here in demonstration story, the round figure flying distance is 24,000 kilometers. A flying velocity is 24,000 kilometers per second. Flying timing is 1 second. That was here Erik Tripper before gender changing. Okay. Now then we can see what's happening. Then here Nettie Maria Stephens came to whom? Erik Tripper. And here when Nettie Maria Stephens came here, Erik Tripper knew that Nettie Maria Stephens is the real scientist to research on gender chromosomes. Okay, and now we can see what happens, the points. Okay. Now, here it is the mistakes can solve. Now here the point is that After the gender change, now Erik Trippers became the Aisha Tahamina. Well, uh, departure is same, arrival is same. Now, what happens? What is the problem for United States Air Force attacking the Iranian terrorist base? The flying distance is same 24,000 kilometers. Now flying velocity is 100 kilometer per hour. Flying timing is 240 hours. Uh, uh, if we can convert it into second, that is uh, 864,000 seconds. But still, half of the weight of F-35 fighter jet is 100,000 kilograms. Okay, and now let's. It is what's happening that before gender change versus after gender change. Okay. Now here we can see the before gender change. Uh, we would discuss that what was the kinetic power, and after gender change we would discuss what was the kinetic power. Okay. Now here we can see the points. Well, before gender change, the kinetic power was here 58 trillion megawatts. And now, well, okay, now here I can say that how we man can measure the gender kinetic powers, and here I can discuss that how we women calculate the kinetic powers. Okay, and here we can say the points. Well, in a previous live stream, we have mentioned that uh, our man's loves the speed innovations, and women hate the speed innovations. Okay, now here we can see the departure is New York, United States of America, and the arrival is Tehran, Iran, to attack Iranian terrorist base. Okay, and disclaimer is it is in the base of the scientific purpose. And now here we can see when the middle route is Buenos Aires and Madrid, Spain. Hence, we can say here uh, uh, flying distance is almost 24,000 kilometers. Now, here how executive officers can think to generate the F-35 fighter jet when the man is chief executive officers. Now let's see. Well, when a man is chief executive officer of F-35 fighter jets, then here he would his mindset is that we have to manufacture an F-35 fighter jets where the velocity would be 24,000 kilometer per second. Hence, or 27,000 kilometer per second. Here we can see the flying and the flying timing would be 1 second. That means here, well, we can say in the times, well, what is the timing for here? December 27, morning 6 o'clock, United States air troop would attack Iranian terrorist base. And here, December 27, morning 6 o'clock, they would depart, F-35 fighter jet would depart from New York, United States of America. And they would arrive on Tehran, Iran in December 27, 2025 at morning 6 o'clock past 1 second. Hence, well, now a man can think that here we can see if the travel distance is 24,000 kilometers between United States of America, New York of United States of America and Tehran, Iran, then man chief executive officer of F-35 fighter jets want to prove that, well, Tehran of Iran is 1 second near from New York City of United States of America. Well, notwithstanding the travel distance of 24,000 kilometers. And that is here they are going to manufacture F-35 fighter jets. Okay. Now let's see what about the kinetic powers. The kinetic powers is the clears. Well, here we can say the half of weight of F-35 fighter jets is 100,000 kilograms. And here we can see the travel distance is 24,000 kilometers. Well, now here we can see the points. 34,000 kilometers means 24,000 kilometers means 24 million meters. Well, the input of flying distance square is 24 million meter entire square. And we know the input of half of weight of F-35 fighter jets, that is 100,000 kilograms. Okay, and now the point is that we don't need to input the flying timing, because here we know the flying timing is 1 second. When we know that when travel timing is 1 second, kinetic power is kinetic energy. When the travel timing is less than 1 second, kinetic power is more than kinetic energy. And the travel timing is less than more than 1 second, kinetic power is less than kinetic energy, and kinetic power can be more than kinetic power if and only if timing would be less than travel timing would be less than 1 second. And now let's see the points. Here we can see 24,000 kilometers per second here, and in this case our kinetic power's equation is kinetic power is equal to half of weight of F-35 fighter jets multiplied by distance square. And here we can see the distance is 24 square is 576, and the round figure is 580. On the other hand, here, okay, here on the other hand, there are the significant moments. 522 1 million square is 1 trillion, because 10 to the power 6 square is 10 to the power 12. Now here the multiplication is between 10 to the power 5 and 10 to the power 7. Okay, let's see. Hi, Salam, how are you? Okay, now here we can see 10 to the power 10 to the square. Well, 10 to the power 5 multiplied by 10 to the power 12 is 10 to the power 70 because the summation between 5 and 12 is 17. Okay, now say 10 to the power 17 multiplied by 580, that is 58 quintillion watt. Now 58 quintillion watt is 58 trillion megawatts. Or we can say that it is 58 billion gigawatt is the point. Now it is the way when man can produce the F-35 fighter jet with the velocity of 24,000 km per second. But and here how man can do it? Because man believe that here Thomas Hunt Morgan is the real scientist to research the about the gender chromosomes. And what is the case? He would think that he would produce more son with Y chromosome, I mean Y sperm. X sperm, his X sperm would be deactivated. That is the point. Well, but now in the demonstration story, the problem is that now Craig Trappier started to believe that Nettie Maria Stephen is the real scientist of the research of gender chromosomes. And now let's see what happens. Okay, and now here we can see, just for a moment. Well, and here you can notify the kinetic powers. But here, probably I can calculate. Well, Pret Ropagans say hi, and I reply salams. Okay. And now, here is the words. Now here we can see, I would say how women works to manufacture F-35 fighter jets when she became the chief executive officers. It's a simple point. Okay. Now here, women mindset is the clear points that they can produce F-35 fighter jet where the flying velocity would be just high, maximum 100 kilometer per hour. But here the problem is that the flying distance is still, just for a minute. Hello, Salam, how are you? Okay, now here the problem is the flying distance is 24,000 kilometers. Okay, now women want to think that when we have to travel from United States of America to Iranian terrorist base in Tehran, Iran. And now here the significant moment I can discuss. Uh, Women chief executive officer can think that uh, she has to produce just a plane that can travel from New York of United States of America to Tehran, Iran. Well, velocity is not concerned for her. Well, if if that the travel distance would be 10,000 kilometers, here then the travel timing would be 100 hours, and if the travel distance would be 24,000 kilometers, then the travel timing would be 240 hours. But it is just travel from New York of United States of travel from the departure of New York of United States of America to arrival of Tehran of Iran. It is just a travel points. And now here we can see that the problem starts. Okay, and here we can see the flying time. Since the flying velocity is 100 km per hour, then here flying timing would be 240 hours. Well, I can explain the points. Okay. Now, United States Air Force pilot want to arrive on where near Tehran, Iran, at the American New York time of December 27, 2025 at 6 o'clock. Then he should start, he should depart from New York, United States of America at, December 7, 2025 at 6 o'clock. Because here we can see, we know the day is, one day is equal to 24 hours, but a pilot or a drivers can drive. Here we can see the propellers. A pilot can flying the plane maximum 12 hours per day. Hence, the day's travel time is 20 days. And it is the mindset of women executive officers. On the other hand, as the comparisons, man's chief executive officer of F-35 fighter jets can think that if Tehran is that 3 kilometers, if we have to travel from New York to Tehran in 24,000 kilometers, then still we have to prove it that Tehran of Iran is 1 second near in with the distance of 1 second to the United States of New York of United States of America. And it is the mindset difference between man executive officer versus women executive officers. Okay, now here we can see, let's calculate the kinetic powers. Okay, now here we have discussions. in the points, we have to input the travel time cube. Okay. Travel time is 240 hours. That means 864,000 seconds. Well, here we can see that's the mindset difference that is notified. Here, well, Erik Trappier kinetic powers we have discussed because that was travel time is 1 second. But here, travel time, when Erik Trappier became Aisha Tamina, that means Erik Trappier changed his genders. Now, the kinetic power is the present kinetic power is division from previous kinetic power by 24-hour intercube. Okay, and here as the previous kinetic powers we got to know that is 58 multiplied by 10 to the power 18, and we can divide that by 24 hours cube. And what is 24 hours cube? Well, 864,000 seconds in the cube. And what is that? And what is the well, that is 644 972 544 multiplied by 10 to the power 9 second cube. And well, let's see the result of the kinetic powers. That is almost 90 watt. Well, now let's see. In the kinetic powers, we can say that what is the difference between man chief executive officers of F-35 fighter jets and women chief executive officers of F-35 fighter jets. The mindset is that, and here we can explain the mindset difference clearly by kinetic powers. Okay, now here we can see man under the man chief executive officer of F-35 fighter jets. Here kinetic powers of F-35 fighter jets is almost 58 trillion megawatts, or I can say, well, 58 billion gigawatts. Okay, say hi. Salam. On the other, where F-35 fighter jets under women chief executive officers containing the kinetic power only of 90 watts. Okay, and here we can see it is the clear cut difference 0.5. That is the difference we can see 500 quadrillion times difference of kinetic powers between F-35 jets under man chief executive officers and F-35 fighter jets under women chief executive officers. And it is the points. And here sometimes I would say, well, sometimes I can think Nettie Maria Stephens was somehow considered as an agent of radical Islamic regime or some radical religious regime. Here I can prove it. Let's see. I cannot prove the executive evidence. but I can prove the probability. Okay, see, let's see. Here are the points. And now it is Iranian terrorist leader Ali Khamenei, the commander of leader terrorist. Okay, now here we can see. Well, okay, the this sections. Uh, well, now here we can see the flying distance is 10,000 kilometers and flying velocity is uh, uh, 10,000 kilometer per minute. Okay, hence the flying time is 1 minute. Here we can half of weight of Iranian terrorist Sukhoi 35 is 100,000 kilometers. Okay. Uh, Here you can see the kinetic power is 46.4 million megawatts. Okay. Now here I can say the explanation points. Now here the point is that Iranian terrorist Ali Khamenei condemns so Russian Sukhoi 35 with the velocity of 10,000 kilometer per minute. Okay, now let's see that what is the actual distance. The actual distance of between Tehran, Iran, and the New York of United States of America is almost 10,000 kilometers. I can prove it. Okay. Now here we go. Well, something here the points. 24,000 kilometer distance between New York and city and Tehran, Iran was in the middle stop of Buenos Aires, Argentina, and Madrid of Spain. But now, here we can see the direct distance. Well, direct distance between New York City of United States of America and Tehran, Iran. Here we can say clear-cut point is the clear-cut distance is 9,850 kilometers. Okay. Now let's see what is the round figure points. Okay. The round figure points here is 10,000 kilometers. Okay. Now here we can say 10,000 Iranian terrorist contains Sukhoi 35 with the velocity of 10,000 kilometer per minute, and it is the points, and he never changed his gender. But on the other hand, Erik Trappier, before gender changing, Erik Trappier could produce F-35 fighter jets with the velocity of 34,000 kilometers per second. Hence, he could produce the F-35 fighter jets with the kinetic power of 58 billion gigawatt. But now, after gender changing, Erik Trappier becomes women, and her mindset is now a women mindset of chief executive officers. And now here we can see Erik Trappier could produce to an F-35 fighter jet with the velocity of 100 kilometer per hour. Hence, the problem is when it distance 24,000 kilometer, it needs 24 hours, and that is the problem that United States of American Air Force are losing their time to Iranian terrorists. Because here we can see Iranian terrorists got a time of 1 minute. Well, 1 minute to attack United States of America with a distance of 10,000 kilometers. And what is the point? Well, here we can see December 27, Iranian terrorists would depart from Tehran, Iran in Iranian time, in the United States time. I mean, near time December 27, 9 o'clock, and they can arrive in New York of United States of America in the New York, December 27, 2025 at 9 o'clock, 1 minute past. Well, and here we can see on the other hand, in the same time, now women Erik Trappier, I mean Aisha Tahmina, the chief executive officer, F-35 fighter jet produced for United States Army. They United States Air Force could depart from New York of United States of America at December 27, 2025 at 6 o'clock. But here he could not reach to the Mexican Gulf. I mean the southern portions of American Gulf. But here that became 9 o'clock and 1 minute past. Iranian terrorists with Sukhoi 35 started to attack. And that is the problem. And here we can see it is the problem is the United States Air Force lose to Iranian air terrorists. Okay, and now here that's the largest points. To know it, and I can share the significant moments. Well, here we can see it's 64,000 divided by 60. That is almost 14,400 times. Okay. Well, now here now we can see the Iranian terrorist plane Sukhoi 35 could contain the velocity of 10,000 kilometer per minute. And now here when Erik Trappier, the chief executive officer of F-35 fighter jets, did not change his gender, he could produce F-35 fighter jets with the velocity of 24,000 kilometers per second. And that means the jet would need the F-35 fighter jets would need to plan travel 1 second to travel 24,000 kilometers to reach the Iranian terrorist base at Iran. Okay, and here that was the probability that Iranian terrorist airbase would lose the war. I mean, lose the battles. But now the problem is when Erik Trappier has changed his gender, now she can produce 100 F-35 fighter jets only in the velocity of 100 km per hour. Well, and 24,000 in the travel distance of 24,000 kilometers, flying travel time would be 24 multiplied by 10, that is 240 hours. Well, and the problem is, the significant problem is, now Iranian terrorists Sukhoi 35 get 14,400 chance to attack on the New York City of United States of America, and that is the largest problem for scientific way of sovereignty of United States of America. Okay, now here we can see, and I think here NabySinha, I think I can understand that why in United Arab Emirates school and Iranian school teaching their students that Thomas Hunt Morgan is just a credit robber to steal the credit of the real scientists to research the gender chromosome, and in the same school of Iran and in the same school of United Arab Emirates, a student can learn that Nettie Maria Stephens are the real scientist of research of gender chromosome, and then I can understand that why NabySinha is saying that Nettie Maria Stevens is the real scientist to research the gender chromosomes. Okay, now let's see here the second points, the icon distance. Now let's see, what is the mindset of fuel? I can say, okay, and now here we would show the points, and here you can see, okay, well, now you can see, well, what is the fuel of F-35 fighter jet before gender changing of Erik Trappier, the chief executive officers. Now let's see. The fuel was artificial solar arc reactor with the temperature of 666 decillion degrees Celsius. And let's see what is the fuel hell of F-35 fighter jets when Erik Trappier changed his gender. Now, here fuel is petrol and cost is United States dollar per liters. Okay. Well, and now here we can see, let's say what's the mindset problems. Okay. Well, the necessary of fuel weight is 5.66 multiplied by 10 to the power negative 3 picograms. Okay. And now here I can share the points. And was an hidden interest. Here fuel is petrols. You can see. Even the velocity is 10,000 kilometer per minute. And necessary petrol volume is almost 27 quadrillion liter of petrols. But now, when the cost of petrol is $1 dollar per 1 liters, that is 37 quadrillion United States dollars. Okay. And here we can see the points. Now here I can show you that how was the difference of the mindset of man chief executive officers and the mindset of women chief executive officers. Okay. Now here I can show the mindsets. Well, here when Erik Trappier did not change his gender, well, he can produce F-35 fighter jets uh, where you can see the fuel is artificial solar arc reactor with the temperature of 666 decillion degrees Celsius. Well, now let's see what is the mindset when he is the chief executive officer of F-35 fighter jets. Okay, now here we can see a man chief executive officer manufacturing F-35 fighter jets can contain the fuel as artificial solar arc reactor, where the temperature of artificial sun can be 666 decillion degrees Celsius or 666 multiplied by 10 to the power 666,666 degrees Celsius, and it is the mindset the parts. And what is the point? But here in demonstration story, well, I would share the artificial solar arc reactor with the temperature is 666 decillion degrees Celsius, because when I was talking to discussing with my girlfriends about the artificial solar arc reactor of with the temperature of 666 multiplied by 10 to the power 666 million, I mean 666,000, 666 degrees Celsius. She just say, "Wow, this is the American points, but we are now in Bangladesh. Well, in Bangladesh, that is a sci-fi points. Come to the grounds, real grounds. Hence, I have mentioned the temperature of 666 degrees Celsius. But still, here we can see the points. A man can produce F-35 fighter jets where fuel would be a triple artificial solar arc reactor with a temperature of 666 decillion degrees Celsius when he became chief executive officer. Because he appoints the art he needs the artificial solar arc reactor weight just of 5.66 multiplied by 10 to the power negative 3 picograms. Okay. Now here we can see 1 kilogram is 1000 grams. 1 gram is 1000 milligrams. 1 milligram is 1 million nanograms, and 1 nanogram is 1000 picograms. That means here 1 picograms is 10 to the power 12. I mean 1 trillion picograms, and 1 kilogram is 1 quadrillion picograms. But now here necessary fuel weight is 5.66 multiplied by 10 to the power negative 3 picograms. That is not even 1 picograms. Well, that cannot be 0.01 picograms even, and it is just a lighter weight, the points, and that is our good points. And here we can see a man can do it at the moment. On the other hand, let's see what is the women mindset. Okay. Well, and here I would show the women mindsets. Well, okay. Well, here we can see the women mindset is the significant points that we can never trust any women, because when women can be chief executive officer to manufacture F-35 fighter jets, then here she needs here fuel as a petrol, where petrol cost 1 United States dollar per 1 liters. Okay. Now, what is the second problem? Where is the second problem when we contains women chief executive officer of F-35 fighter jets? Well, here we can see the necessary. Hence, the fuel would be petrol, and the necessary petrol volume is 10.2 billion liter of petrols. Okay. Now in the points the palace is not the enough sufficient areas. Okay. Now here we can see the petrol costs 1 United States dollar per 1 liter. Hence, the total cost is 10.2 billion United States dollars. Well, now here we can see the empty. If the problem of United States of America is here, we can travel 1 hour flying F-35 flying cost is almost 3.2 billion. I mean, what is the word? 320 million United States dollars. Okay. And here you can see the points. And here are the significant moments that we contains the significant difference between man chief executive officer and women chief executive officers. Here, 1 hour is cost is 320 million United States dollars. Now, to attack on Iranian terrorist base, the travel distance would be 24,000 kilometers between New York City of United States of America and Tehran, Iran. Not, of course, not. It is not direct distance. It is the distance where we are to is Buenos Aires, Argentina, and the Madrid, Spain. The middle is the middle stop. And now here we can see well one. Now let's see. Here I would go into calculations. It is the significant points that is the significant moments. 320 multiplied by 240. Okay. 76,800. Okay. Now here we can see. Well, the point to be noted, my lord, the entire cost from travel distance between well you know where is the point? Travel distance between Tehran, Iran, and New York City of United States of America is almost 77 billion United States dollars, and where we did not sum by the fuel cost, that is 87 billion United States dollars. And now, we could not get a guarantee that even the spending 87 billion United States dollars, we cannot guarantee it that even we can win or not. The American air pilot, fighter pilot can win or not. On the other hand, here we can see, artificial solar arc reactor with the temperature of 666 decillion degrees Celsius. Here, weight would be 5.66 multiplied by 10 to the power negative 3 picograms. In the case here, it cost only $10. And now let's find out the 1 hour cost, flying cost is of 320 million United States dollars. And let's see about the 1 hour cost. Let's see the points. Here we can see the moments. 320 divided by 3,600. Well, million 89,000. Well, here we can see the cost is almost 89,000 United States dollars. Here's the cost and return travel cost. We can add return travel. Total cost is almost 200,000 United States dollars. Okay, that is the greatest achievements as our points. That is the greatest achievement as our points. Well, now here we can see 87. The division of 87 by 2 is, of course, that 43.3. And now let's see 10 to the division of 10 to the power 9 by 10 to the power 5. That is 10 to the power 4. Okay, now here we can see four man chief executive officer of F-35 fighter jet is more efficient, 435,000 times more efficient than women chief executive officers. And now here we can see, and now because of Nettie Maria Stephens, here hence now our honorable chief executive officers of F-35 fighter jets, Erik Trappier, changed his gender, and that is the point that how we American F-35 fighter plane lose their efficiency to that they can lose to Iranian terrorist Sukhoi 37 or Sukhoi 35. And here we can see, and here it is the points that why we Americans do not teach our students that Nephi Maria Stephens is a real scientist to research about gender chromosome. In lieu, we American teachers teach our students that Thomas Hunt Morgan is the real scientist to research the gender chromosome, and Nettie Maria Stephen is the credit cracker. And we teach that Nobel Prize Scientific Science Committee will catch Nettie Maria Stevens fraudulent and provide Nobel Prize in biology to Thomas Hunt Morgan that we teach our American students. And we are discussing that why we teach Americans teach our students that no women did not research about gender chromosome, because because in the reality is that the research of and women scientists about gender chromosome can be significant issues of gender changing. And here the point is about the sovereign threats of United States of America. And here our topic is Erik Trappier. But here our Dubai bar dancers NabySinha study is saying that Nettie Maria Stephens is the real scientist to research about gender chromosomes. Well, we the young American students, we American university students know that Nettie Maria Stephens is the real scientist to research about gender chromosome, but we do not accept her because in the calendar 2025 we are encountering the dangerous issue of gender change. Hence, well, gender change that we can be vulnerable to the radical Islamic terrorists, particularly the Iranian terrorists. And that is the significant moments that what was the significant issues. Okay, now here we can see now it is the points all the points about the gender changing how was the effect on desert aviation, I mean F-35 fighter jets manufacturers when the chief executive officers change his genders. And it is the points that why we hate Nettie Maria Stevens. Okay. And here we can see the points necessary. And here we are concerns that one girl, Dubai girl, Nabi Sinha, shared that how we have to accept the Natty Maria Stevens is the real scientist to research the gender chromosomes. And in the next times here, the several women are saying the points. And this level of the points as the very dangerous for the sovereignty of United States of America. And that is the significant points as we can say. And it is just not our concern, but every concern of the world who are Christians and Jewish are concerned that, well, our if we can accept Nettie Maria Stephens as a real scientist to research gender chromosome, then we are concerned that if the radical Islamic terrorists or radical Christian terrorists like Zimbabwe, Kenya, and radical Islamic terrorists like Afghanistan and Iran would attack the progressive Christian country and the progressive Jewish countries. That is our concerns. Well, now here and our final point is that, well, sometimes Nobel Prize committees contains some more politics to that who would be the to provide the Nobel Prize to later laureate. But still, in that times, well, Nobel Prize Committee contains their scientific way. They can sure the native if we can provide the Nobel Prize to Nettie Maria Stevens in the cause of the research about gender chromosomes, then we are promoting the gender changing crime, and here we can see we are would be the witness of gender changing crime in the life of Albert Einstein, where probably Albert Einstein would change his gender to women. That was our Nobel Prize Committee's concerns, and probably he would be not he would be not a greatest scientist, but some foolish women because he changed his gender her. Okay. In real life, Thomas Hunt Morgan got the Nobel Prize in the research of gender chromosome. And what is the result? In the last breath of Albert Einstein did not change his gender, and the results, we got a complete life story of our greatest scientist, Albert Einstein. Okay, and here we can see that is the points. We got Stephen Hawking still being a man in his entire life, and just because our Nobel Prize Committee provide Nobel Prize to uh, Thomas Hunt Morgan in lieu of Nettie Maria Stevens in the cause of research of gender chromosomes. Well, and here we can see that is the significant moments as we are celebrating. Okay, and now here we can see the significant moments as soon as possible. Okay, and now what if the F-35 fighter jet distance would be 10,000 kilometers in lieu of 24,000 kilometers? Let's see. 10,000 kilometers means, 10 million meters, 10 to the power 7. And the half of weight of fighter jets is still the half jet of fighter plane. Half of weight of fighter plane is still 100,000 kilograms. Now, 10 to the power 5 multiplied by 10 to the power 14 is 10 to the power 19. That means here we can see, the kinetic power would be 10 trillion megawatts. I mean, that would be 1 billion gigawatts. Well, that would be possible when Erik Trappier can produce F-35 fighter jets where the velocity of fighter jets is 10,000 kilometers per second. But but what about the women? If Erik Trappier changed his gender and now she is the women executive officer of F-35 fighter jets, where distance is 10,000 kilometers. She can produce the velocity only of 100 kilometers per hour. Well, the travel distance, timing would be 100 hours. And that is the significant points, Well, 1 hour is 30 is, now here, let's conduct the calculations. Okay. The calculation is simple. So, 10 to the power 19. Well, divided by, 100 multiple by 3600 uh, cube, and that is the points. That would be 215 220 watts. That would be 220 watts. If women Erik trappers can manufacture the F-35 fighter planes. Okay, and here we can see what is the petrol points? 10, 10 to the power 19, 10 to the power 19, well, here divided by 100 multiplied by 3600, a square, multiplied by 98, multiplied by 0.778, and it will be say, okay, that will be 1.1 million liter of petrols. Well, okay, but on the other hand, here we can see well, it is the sufficient points. Here we can see the kinetic power when Erik Trapper can produce F-35 fighter jets with the kinetic powers of 220 hertz. Man Erik Trapper can produce kinetic powers F-35 fighter jets with the kinetic powers of 10 billion gigawatts. And now let's see, where is 10 billion gigawatts and where is 220 watts? Well, and that is the use points. Now we could say we have shown the women Erik powers petrol, but now we would see man kinetic man artificial solar arc reactor or powers. Now here we can say the 10 to the power 19. Well, now it is enter divided by now here we can see the points 10 0.98 multiplied by 15,408 multiplied by and here we can see, well, and 666 multiplied by 10 to the power 666, and now, well, it is just like that. Alif Layla, Alif Layla, Alif Layla. Just kidding. Well, 666 multiple by 0.98 multiple by 15,408 Well, okay, 9.94, 11 subtract by 666. Okay, now here we can see when man, in this case, when the distance between New York of United States of America and Tehran, Iran is 10,000 kilometers. Well, when man Erik Trappier could produce F-35 fighter plane when the fuel is artificial solar arc reactor with uh, triple all six with a temperature of 666 multiple by 10 to the power 666 degrees Celsius. he the plane needs only 10 multiple by okay 10 to the power negative 655 kilograms. Okay, and here we can see that means it's just clear points 10 that is 10 to the power uh, 10 multiplied by 10 to the power negative 640 picograms. Well, that is less than 1 picograms. And now he accepts Nettie Maria Stephens as a real researcher of what gender chromosomes, and now he changed his gender, and you know that the fuel is petrols, and with the cost of $1 per 1 liters. And here you can see the petrol volume is 1.1 million liters, and that is the significant difference. And here we can see in the because of significant difference, now we can understand how gender change of a man is dangerous for his own countries, and it is the significant point. And the irony is that NabySinha accept or NabySinha accept Nettie Maria Stephens as women scientists to be real scientists to research about the gender chromosomes, and that is Iranian terrorist wants, and it is the significant points that we cannot accept NabySinha's points. Now here my request to all my brothers that if you are watching the live stream, my request is go to NabySinha and start comments. NabySinha, you are a liar that you want to change man's gender, so hence that he can become women's, and then that means you want to remove the mankind from the world. Hence, you are not accepted. And these comments, my brothers, you have to write to NabySinha, because she is trying to insult the mankind, and in this worst way she served. And that is our concerns, and we can see that that's our enemy wants that we would appreciate women criminal scientists in lieu of man innocent scientist. And that is the significant negative points for our countries, Western countries, that means America, England, Israel, and Spain, Germany, and Australia. And that is the significant positive, well, accepting Nettie Maria Stephens is the significant positive points for Iranian terrorists. Because that is the point that uh, Iranian terrorists can defeat the American soldiers. And here we can see it is the significant moments that I could describe. Well, and now here we can see I am against, always I am against on women, feminism, and in the movie points, I have roasted the women Tony Stark. And here we can see in videos to roast Iron Man Iron Women roast. And now here we can see the points because I am against the gender change crime. And now Navi Sinha wants that gender change crime would be legalized in United States of America that Navi Sinha wants. And here is the reason that why she is studying in Dubai school when she is born in India. Now here is the arguments. My point is over in live streams. Okay. See you then. Khodafez. Love you. Okay.